Greetings, beacons of light, and welcome to this particular transmission, a monthly broadcast from one of the 12 Angels of Atlantis. Remember that they come to us at this time with very specific areas of responsibility that we can see as archetypal units, meaning that each angel is a key into our consciousness, allowing us to feel a way of being able to communicate and live through a particular aspect of our own consciousness, giving us purpose for the revelation of what our month will be about. And so now what I'm going to do is just spend a few moments in stillness. And I invite you also into the same sacred space of stillness, because within this stillness, the holy ones, the sacred ones, who are often unseen, come in very clearly. And this particular transmission is dedicated to Archangel Haniel. Greetings and welcome, and we give you great thanks for being here with us today at this unique time of growth, evolution and expansion of the earthly consciousness, referred to as your earthly home, the planet terra firma, the great Gaia. I come to you with specific areas of responsibility. I arise from the planet Mars, the red planet, and so I am often seen as an orb of red light, carrying a great shield, a shield of protection that is equated with the substance of your own humility. Thereby, your vulnerability is always protected. Because the role that I fulfill is the role of the sacred warrior. The interpretation of this role as a spiritual warrior is not the same as you see within the cognizance of your planet as fulfilling the role of soldier. More importantly, this is a role that fulfills not the human desire to defend or to create conflict resolution through revenge. This is reminding you of the essential virtues that you all possess that will bring forth a steadfastness, a strength of will, and a courage or bravery to be able to fulfill the great changes that are taking place within your consciousness and the consciousness of the Great Mother, Gaia. As I come forth at this time, I see that you are also feeling immensely vulnerable. And therefore, I ask you to tune into the power of this great red orb that I arrive as. The redness will excite your will, the will that lives deep within your solar plexus, will activate the fire energy of this will to bring you forth, not through any form of aggressiveness, but certainly drawing you into asserting those qualities of your being that are most essential to you. And in these moments, we remind you that love is all there is. And so we are seeing that this particular information will allow you to feel an escalation, an amplification of this extraordinary love that you feel that will equate itself with the power of your will. Remember, courage arises not just from the position of the will in your body, but also from the very core of your heart. See your hearts not just as a temporal organ, not just as an organ that pumps blood around your body, but is actually the seat of your soul. It is where the energy of your spiritual nature, the energy that connects you with the higher region of your oversoul is positioned. And so suffusing the element of the love of your heart with the power of your will bring you to the substance we refer to in the English word courage. It arises from the Latin cura of your heart. And it means the willpower, the steadfastness of being able to fulfill any specific intention that is linked with the fervor, the passion, and the absolute complete nature of the way that you wish to bring about goodness and love and compassion and empathy within your life. And thereby, with the suffusing of this energy, you will feel yourself radiating a much stronger force than if you were living in doubt or in fear, in a lack of safety, or indeed a lack of security. Use the ideas or the images of the great warriors, the great martial artists, who stand in the face of whatever force comes to them that may be a destructive force, but they stand in absolute stillness. And way back in the antecedents of the great warrior class energy, the spiritual warriors of your planet, the intention was actually not to move into combat, but to use the position of stillness and thereby to radiate such force that again the love and the willpower comes as such a mitigating desire that actually all of the energy that is in opposition to it is quelled, is made peaceful, is turned into serenity. Way back in the origin of the human species, at the end times of Atlantis, the communion of the spiritual warriors moved to the area of the world that you now know as Japan. It was called something completely different then, in a tone or in a language that you would refer to as being elfish. The warriors that we speak of then generated into an extraordinary warrior class that you refer to as samurai. See the nobility of these great warriors, both men and women, who were trained in martial arts so that they could move with accelerated speed within the willpower and within the love of their purpose, because they were not individualized through the ego. They were working through a band of force that unified all warriors together to literally uphold justice and truth and the human virtues we have already spoken of. In their process, they would actually engage in altered states of consciousness through the force of stillness. And as a result, often they would not need to move at all to subdue the aggression of their foes. They would use sound. The sound that they used would penetrate the body of all opposing force and literally still that being, because primary weapons were used, such as the bow and arrow, or the sword, or certain martial art purposes and processes that you today can see in activities like kung fu, or karate, or taekwondo. They were agile in mind, body, and spirit, and therefore they were always thinking ahead, feeling ahead, working through a perceptual range that was absolutely unique as they moved through the currents of stillness that we have already spoken about. Relate this to your own lives. Through meditation, through walks in nature, find equitable stillness within you, where you feel your sensory or perceptual range is so powerful as a result of the stillness that any thought or any feeling is transposed into a movement of elemental consciousness rather than a physical movement. This means that every intention will be intensified. This means that as conviction comes in as a force multiplier for that intention, you will see a way of being able to envelop all energies that may be in aggression or in opposition to you. Love these beings into your field. Do not judge. If you begin to judge, you will feel your force will weaken. You will automatically activate the chemicals in your body that are known as noradrenaline or cortisol, and you will move into a defensive attack. This will be a weakening of your force, not a strengthening of your force. Do you understand these important points of identification? Please feel the stillness as we speak to you. We need you to know that you are firmly supported by we, the 12 Angels of Atlantis, but also by many spiritual guardians that we bring in at this time. And Haniel himself, herself, itself, brings in mighty energy from the Martian intelligence, which again invokes the power of the volcanic redness within your being. Notice how you human beings become excited by redness. You will refer to the red rag to the bull or the scarlet woman. They can be disempowering devices. We ask you to not see them as such. We ask you to be suffused with the redness, and thereby many spiritual guardians from the Martian intelligence will come for you and to you, and therefore you will feel your force ennobled. Thereby, the higher choice will be utilized. We remind you, this is to stimulate your will, the energy that you can use to move forward effortlessly, with courage, with bravery, with hope in the center of your heart. So use your mental body in the process of stillness that we have spoken of, and project into the space before you the peace that you would wish to reign, even though there may be aggression or opposition or judgment or unkindness or a lack of compassion before you. Bring in all of the aid that you can. Look into the ascended masters and mistresses within the consciousness of planetary spiritual evolution. Bring them to you. You are never ever alone. We are supporting you in this. And also remember that light species from the further regions of the cosmos are coming to you at this time, because the evolution of your planetary consciousness in relation to cosmology is vast at this time. Many extraterrestrial or ultra-terrestrial beings are coming to witness this remarkable time of shifting, of change, moving you into the most pure, the most noble, the most loving, and the most truthful gestures of your consciousness. So, to finalize, look deep into your hearts. See them as the repository for your souls. And evince, bring forth, interpret what is the most pure, what is the most loving, what is the most essential aspect of your embodiment as a spiritual being of the cosmos. Remember, you are not alone. We leave you these pulsations, we leave you these vibrations, so that you may feel them permeating through the whole of your consciousness, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. This is a powerful transmission. Be with it in silence. Be with it in stillness. And you will host the most powerful energies. You will hostess pure love in your hearts, and thereby the destructive elements of your consciousness, which you know as ego, will cease having a control over your lives. Become a host for the divine principle. Become a hostess of the sacred ones, and cease being a hostage to your ego. We love you, and we leave you at this time with these cherished thoughts, knowing full well that they will activate vast residues of atomic energy. Because remember, you are all in Atlantis, you are all in Mu. You remember these subtle ingredients deep within the moral compass of your being, deep within your physiology. All you need is this moment of remembering.